Mr. Joe, thank you for being on the show. Um, I wanted you on the show because when I met you a couple years ago, you are the founder of Snowflake Healing, the shops,
Hmm.
Snowflake Healing,
Oh,
and
co-founder.
co-founder
Yeah.
with you and your wife,
Mhm.
Pam, your lovely wife, and in Willow Springs, Illinois. And when I met you, when I met both of you, actually, it really struck me how knowledgeable that you guys are in spirituality, in the occults. And, I've been going to spiritual shops around Chicagoland for years. And, there's some really good people out there, really knowledgeable people. But, I mean, you guys, you guys surpass, I feel like, all of them or a lot of them. And what I find interesting about you is, like, you have, like, this very much, like, what I would call, like, just like a hardcore day job. Like, you're in the regular world, but you're so knowledgeable in the occult. And yeah, I'm going on too much. But basically, I want to ask, how did that happen? At what point did you get into the occult? Was it when you were a kid, or was it later on in life?
So the occult actually came first before the day job. So probably when I was like 9 or 10. Like my dad was kind of into that stuff too. Like he wasn't like a practicing anything, but like he just liked to learn and read about it. And so he actually had like a whole wall of books about that stuff. And when I was a kid, I just was always drawn to it. And I was just reading all this stuff. Like we would talk about it sometimes, and that just kind of got me on the path generally. Like I had no idea why I liked the stuff at the time. I mean, I was just a kid, but like it just kind of followed me throughout my life.
So your dad was already into it.
To a degree, I would say,
Okay.
yeah. Like
Okay.
he was a seeker, I would say, but he wasn't like a practitioner of any kind.
Sure.
Like he was very much still in this world, but like he always kind of had his eye towards the other one.
Was that or that book collection that you're talking about, was it just occult books, or was it other types of things?
No, it was like he had like Stephen King books. He loved Stephen
Okay.
King and like other stuff like that. But like that was the part that I paid attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he probably had a good 50, 60 books, which I mean, for a layperson that doesn't actually do that stuff, that's a lot of books.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it was like over a wide range of stuff. Like it was like the, was it like Time Life when they used to sell like those packages of books or whatever? Like,
Sure.
I forget what it was, but like it had the picture of like the devil on the front where he was like the goat and like all the witches were around him, like that Renaissance painting.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that whole collection, and like just like all kinds of like books written in the 70s and 80s about just like New Age and occult and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So your dad was, like you said, he was like not in the world, but he was really interested in it, and you started dabbling in it. When did it transfer from just reading or passing interest to like really delving into it?
I would say like I delved into it to a degree probably in my early to mid 20s. Like I did some ghost hunting stuff too, like not to the degree that you guys do, but like I think like I was just trying to find proof of it because I just so desperately wanted there to be something beyond this.
Yeah.
And I figured like that was the way to find it, because like I was at that time, like I was still very much like in this world, and I knew that there was more, but I didn't know how to get there, and I didn't know how to like see it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the mistake I made then was I was like stuck in this perspective trying to look outside of myself for it. And I found out over time as I like actually practiced stuff, which probably happened like in my early 30s, and like I'm 46 now. But I found out that all the stuff you're looking for is more inside yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's really no answers outside.
Yeah. So you were seeking for such a long time, and then you find out the answers are with.
I
within
was, and it's like you just go down a bunch of rabbit holes, and it's like the more stuff you read about and the more kind of like threads that you connect together. Like I read about a lot of different systems, like Eastern stuff, Western stuff. Like I wasn't stuck on any one system where I was like, this is my thing. Like I just kind of wanted to know the common threads of truth that ran through all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I could honestly relate to that because that's how I was. I just I didn't really gravitate toward any particular spirituality or belief system. I was really interested in it as as a whole, and just like you said, like what is the commonality between all of them?
Right. And that's like the theory of it, which I think is really important to understand like at the beginning. And it doesn't matter which way you approach it. Like if you're looking at a good system or multiple good systems, like you'll find the common threads. But then at some point in time, I feel like you have to pick one or two things to like anchor yourself in it, and then kind of like explore from there, kind of like a base camp of sorts, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. So what was your anchors then?
I would say my anchor initially was probably Kabbalah, like Hermetic Kabbalah specifically, because like I'm not Jewish, like I'm not a a rabbi or like an expert in that sense, but like the Hermetic Kabbalah is more like the I guess an occult interpretation of it. And it's interesting that you talk about like how I've got such like a hardcore day job. Like I'm a home inspector and like I own a couple of businesses, and like that's all very super practical, like
Right.
earthy stuff. And like that's the world that I'm in half the time. But I think for me, spirituality at this point in my life is kind of about bringing that understanding and like that connection through me into this world.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because it's the idea that a lot of these stories in the occult world, going back to ancient history, is just they're just myths in order for you to get by in the world that we have to live in, and that's how it's just like mythology around the world is like, the mythology of how people were created, or like in Native American lore, there is the mythology of the fox. And why do they have mythology of the fox? Because foxes are known to be cunning. So where did that cunningness come from, right? And they have this whole mythology behind it, and it's for them to understand the world around them, to understand those animals, the fox or the coyote. So it's basically what I'm saying is it's the same thing for the occults. It's you understand the occult so you could understand the world you live in, but understand that the occult is more symbolic, metaphorical.
Yeah, and that's true. And like any system that's either created by humans or channeled by humans is meant to help you understand something that you couldn't understand from this perspective, but you're still trying to understand it. So like I believe that both the Eastern and the Western systems bring us to the point where actual existence and consciousness is non-dual in nature. You know what I mean? Like we live in a dualistic world where there's like a subject and an object type situation where, okay, I'm sitting here and you're sitting there and we're separate things. And I'm perceiving this room with my consciousness, but this room is not part of me in any way. That's like the dualistic perspective of it. And the non-dualistic perspective would be more like, I'm perceiving you and you're perceiving me, but we're both parts of the same consciousness experiencing the world from different eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even that's not fully non-dual, but I mean, that's getting closer.
Right.
Like the connections that seem to exist, or the differences that seem to exist between us and the things around us are temporal at best. Like they're really not real.
Well, wouldn't a non-dual way to look at things be just like one aspect of the occult? Because I feel like there would be other occultists that would be like, no, the reality of things is dualistic.
Well, the reality of things, the reality that we live in is dualistic. So that's also real. But there's going to come a point in time where everything that we think that we are is going to be gone and rotting in the ground. And then what's left?
Right. Yeah. And this whole metaphorical nature to the occult isn't it's only metaphorical to a certain point, because, and we had this conversation recently, because there are real world things that occur when you become a practitioner. We talked about Aleister Crowley and the various rituals that he conducted. It's the idea that like he did open something, that he created these portals or created these energies to allow things to pass through. Do you think that what do you think about that? That, am I right? Like you do create something when you do conduct these rituals or ceremonies?
Oh, absolutely. So You ever heard of Lon Milo Duquette?
No.
So he's a guy. He's like he's a Thelemite. So he's actually a guy that was kind of like in Aleister Crowley's system,
Yeah.
and he's also like a Golden Dawn practitioner. But he's written a lot of books.
Thelemite is the religion of
Aleister Crowley.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like his version of Golden Dawn stuff, which is like a 1800s Western esoteric order.
Right.
And he wrote a book called The Chicken Kabbalah, which is like it's like a really beginner friendly, like humorous introduction to a really big subject, the Kabbalah. And one thing that he said in that book was, you know, talking about like magic and life and all that stuff. Like it's all in your head, but your head is much bigger than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from this perspective, when we do like these rituals and everything, we are connecting to other things that we can't normally perceive, or hopefully that normally can't perceive us unless we're trying to get in contact with them. But I feel like Western and Eastern stuff, even though they take different approaches, both lead you to the conclusion that you exist like in consciousness, like in many different levels at once.
Yeah.
So like from the very most basic earthly level all the way up to that non-dual cosmic consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
like there are versions of you or parts of you that exist in all of those at once, and this is just the one that you're perceiving now. So do I believe that like he was opening up portals or creating connections to other beings? Yeah, probably. But it's also very possible from that perspective that all that stuff was occurring within him at the same time.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, both of those things could have been real.
Yeah. It's like your mind is like the TARDIS in Doctor Who, if you understand the reference. The TARDIS is like this traveling, for lack of a better term, ship that the Doctor and Doctor Who would travel in. But once he goes inside, it looks so small, like a phone booth from the outside. But once you go inside, it's huge. And that's kind of what you're saying. Like, yeah, that's kind of how I view our mind. Like when we think of our mind, we just think of the brain, right? The physical component of the mind. But honestly, the brain is, just one component out of this expansive, system that we really know so little about.
Right. Well, like what we really are, if you believe any of these things, is just pure consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to experience this world in this way, we need something to kind of translate that into an actual dualistic experience. And I think that's what the brain does. Like there's people, like scientists from this perspective, that think like all that stuff happens in the brain, and when the brain turns off, it all turns off, right?
Right.
I don't believe that. I believe that the brain is kind of like a receptor and a transmitter of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need it to experience life here, but I don't believe that we need it to be conscious. And that's where it gets into like the nature of consciousness and what is it really. And nobody here really knows.
Yeah.
But that's where these studies take you, though.
So, I mean, you're a seeker, and obviously you don't have the answers, but I'm sure you thought a lot about this. Then what do you think when we die, where does our consciousness go? What happens to our consciousness? What happens to the self when we die?
I think that kind of depends on you and how you are when you die. So, like, what happens to the self in terms of, like, what happens to Jack Chavez when he dies?
Mm-hmm.
He dies. He's gone. But the rest of you, which is, like, actually the vast majority of what you really are, does continue on, I think.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the process of our spiritual evolution is more just kind of a gradual shedding of degrees of our ego and what we think we are and the acceptance of what we actually are, which from here would be damn near impossible.
Right.
Because, like, I mean, imagine trying to imagine 4 dimensions when you're living in 3, or 3 dimensions when you're living in 2. You've got no frame of reference.
Yeah.
But you can use symbols and stories and all that stuff to at least kind of get you there. And then the practices, if you do them regularly and honestly, will kind of help you to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get there when you're here. But I feel like if you get as close as you can, when you die, you're more likely to continue on towards that versus coming
It'll be
back
a
here.
smoother transition.
Right. Like one
Yeah.
thing I've been studying a lot over the last few years is Tibetan dream yoga, which I just happened upon it accidentally. Like I've always been interested in like different states of consciousness. Astral projection was probably the first thing I studied with all this stuff when I was a little kid. Like I found a book in my dad's little library, like was it Robert Monroe's first book? Was it Journeys Out of the Body, something like that?
Oh, okay.
But and so I had some experience with that when I was a kid. So I kind of understood that there was something more, though I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
But it was like a gateway kind of. And man, where were we going? I feel like I just got off on a tangent.
No, that's
Oh, yeah.
real quick. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you mentioned Robert Monroe and the Monroe Institute. They have been pioneers in so much scientific research into consciousness, near-death experience, and I think if anybody wants to like get a start in that kind of research or the paranormal, they really should start with Robert Monroe's research, because he was a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a skeptic and you say, well, where's the proof, like look at what the institute has done, look at all the studies that they've done, so
Yeah, I don't disagree. Robert Monroe has some really good stuff. William Buhlman was one of his students, and he's got a great website. I think it's astroinfo.org. And it's just like a ton of free info on that stuff.
yeah.
And like the astral projection thing is like a very like Western occult approach to that whole thing,
Mhm.
which is cool because like in Western society, like we're very earthly, and like that kind of helps that to meet us where we are, I think.
Yeah.
Tibetan dream yoga is more of an Eastern practice. And the whole point of that at the end of the day is learning how to die well, which means when you die, not getting caught up in like the kind of dreamlike state that you're going to be in, like kind of reliving all your memories and your karma and all that kind of stuff, but just kind of being able to surpass that stuff and move on to the actual next state, clear consciousness.
I never really thought of it that way. So the idea is that, okay, when you die and you have your life review, it's that you're having that review because you're not in a spiritual state to move on. So you need that review in order to know like everything that you've done, your sins or your transgressions, in order for you to. But if you already surpassed that spiritually while on earth, then you could skip that part and go to higher dimensions.
So their whole approach to it is they use lucid dreaming practices to kind of train you to die well. And what I mean by that is, so like they equate dying to falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you fall asleep, normally you just kind of click from one state of consciousness to the next, and then you wake up in a dream, and most of the time you have no idea what's happening, and you're just there doing that thing. Like you don't remember where you were when you fell asleep, you're just doing that. And their whole thing is training to stay conscious from, the beginning of sleep to the beginning of the dream, to stay conscious through that transition. Like through the, what do they call the, not the hypnopompic, but the other one.
The one that
hypnagogic,
yeah.
Yeah, staying conscious through the hypnagogic state. Because when you're conscious through that state, and like I've done this as best I can at least, but like you start to hallucinate. Like you have like the hypnagogic hallucinations, right?
Yeah.
And anything that you see, if you grab onto it mentally in any way, like that's just kind of where you're going, and that's going to be your dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they equate dying to that, in the sense that when you die, they say that you go into a state called bardo, which is where, you might see like demonic beings or angelic beings or whomever, but like it's going to be a subject-object situation like we talked about before, to where you're this and they're that. And if you grab onto that mentally, it's going to drag you into another dream, which they equate to this life. And that's like the reincarnation.
That's interesting.
And you're kind of just like stuck in that cycle, that wheel over and over again, until you can finally kind of like bypass that and just go into clear consciousness, or at least the next day closer to it from here.
Yeah. So, so are you doing lucid dreaming?
Yeah.
And how's it working?
It's pretty cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
just because it's fun, but
I-
also you can do so much with it.
Are you at a place now where you could say, okay, I'm gonna lucid dream tonight, and I'm gonna go to these different places?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like lucid dreaming is tricky. You know what I mean? Like even if you're really good at it, maybe 1 out of every 10 will be like truly lucid. And like
Interesting.
you'll have different levels of consciousness in each one, and like maybe you'll be a little bit better at recognizing. But the whole thing is being able to bring like stable consciousness into a dream. And in the dream state, that's really tough because parts of your brain shut off.
Yeah.
So then it's like also in your waking life, you have to get really good at bringing stable consciousness into that too. So lucid dreaming also becomes training for physical life as well. Like if you can be lucid in the dream, you can be lucid in life. And how often are we really lucid in life?
Right.
Like how often are you fully present in a given moment?
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's all it really
Yeah.
is.
I had this one dream before where like I was falling or something like that, and there was a building, and I was able to like become the building. And then from there I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I looked at the street below, and I was able to become the street. So I was able to morph into whatever I looked at. And I remember waking up and thinking about the dream and thinking like, I wonder if there is some symmetry with that and the afterlife, where you gravitate toward whatever your thought process is.
Oh, I think so.
And it seems like that's kind of what you're saying. a
Like
little
I feel like any level of consciousness above this starts to become a very thought and emotion responsive environment. Dreams are no different.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really important to be able to maintain stable consciousness. Because just like, you know, like when you're falling asleep, like it's very easy when your consciousness is fading to just like mentally grab onto this, grab onto that. But if you're able to maintain stable consciousness through that, you're also able to maintain the ability to not attach to those things
Mhm.
and to stay centered within yourself as all that's happening around you.
Yeah.
And I think that becomes very important in lucid dreaming too. And I think that also translates to the afterlife as well.
You know, it's we're talking about that. We're talking about the idea of trying to escape, this cycle, and we're not even as knowledgeable as Crowley was, and Crowley was super knowledgeable, and we know that these other realms are treacherous. Why do you think somebody like him, with all his knowledge, would have, instead of saying, hey, I want to escape the cycle, or I want to help people, with his knowledge of what's going to happen to him with all these really questionable things and sometimes outright malicious things, why did he choose that path if he knows it's going to bite him?
Why he chose it, I couldn't say. I mean, that's kind of just between him and his creator or whatever. But I would say that for whatever his reasons were, he approached it very much from a place of ego.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can become really skillful at this stuff, like we were talking about before, like at that party, and not have any sense of like actual spirituality. And you can be doing it the whole time to enrich your ego, which, I mean, you'll be great at that stuff, but then also at the same time, you're never going to escape this perspective because you keep feeding it.
Right.
So he had no interest in shedding his ego, even when he was like, transversing the aethers to shed his ego. He wasn't really. He was just doing it for power or for knowledge or for, I don't know, I guess accolades or whatever he was doing it for. But it was all like for Aleister Crowley.
Right.
And when Aleister Crowley died, he died. Then what?
Yeah.
I don't think he was prepared for that. Even though he was very knowledgeable and very good at that stuff, it didn't take him where it should have taken him.
No, I would imagine that it wouldn't, with everything that he did. I had a thought and then I lost it. But I think, I think it's so easy for people to, and you've seen this, I've seen this a lot, to have a certain amount of knowledge in these fields and to use it for malicious purposes, because psychic vampires, right? People who feed off the emotions of others. And it's like, I don't feel like I'm a psychic vampire, but I understand how people might be tempted to be drunk with power. But it's like once you're doing that vile act, it's like, don't you have any perspective and say like, hey, I have this power, I have this knowledge, I could be helping people, but people get so drunk with that power that they have. You have come across that before, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, and that's exactly what they're lacking is perspective. Like you can develop all the skills you want, but if you don't have the perspective, then what good are they?
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is do that stuff for long enough and see where it takes you.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like consciously, but just in your life.
Yeah.
You know, like are you thriving? Are you successful? Do you have lots of good relationships? Like do you have a good connection with the divine? Like are you happy? Probably not. Like, you know, just like having that shop. I mean, we've had people send us bad stuff before and never for any really good reason. Like we've never hurt anybody. We've only ever set out to help anybody.
Sure.
And I'm thinking to myself like, man, like if magic is real and you can do all that stuff and you can do it to hurt us, why on earth wouldn't you just do it to improve your own situation and forget we exist?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I guess that's coming from a place of naivety on my part, because it's like we have so many people in the real world, CEOs and politicians that have so much power and they rarely use it for good. So it's like it's just a shame. You know?
That's all ego-based power though. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean human beings, like without the divine connection, like we're animals. Like we have all the same stuff in us that all animals do. Jealousy, greed, lust, like, you know, which, I mean, it's negative translations of just like desire for security, you know, desire for connection, all that kind of stuff. But like, it's kind of those things turned negative.
Yeah.
But we all have that in us. So without that perspective, like that higher divine perspective, it's natural that we would kind of channel anything that we learn into those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because why wouldn't we?
Right.
If you don't know that there's more, you'd have no reason not to.
Yeah. And well, I guess that's the point. It's if these people are limited in their scope, you know, so they could only see things. I mean, with all their knowledge, they could still only see things from one plane instead of seeing the layers that are attached to it.
Right. And that, like, you know, have you ever heard that saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, there's a lot of that going on. Like the spiritual community is hurting right now.
It is.
And like there's some real true like spiritual beings out there, but I think they're very few and far between. Like I think we're in a time of darkness right now, but I think with the possibility of some light down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be a part of that.
I know this one individual in the spiritual field, and he's, you know, he has a great resources, and I think he's a good guy at heart. And he knows so many people, and he's able to, you know, do so many things, let's say. And but I could see that he's like kind of going down this path, and I don't even want to say a dark path, but more of a gray area in the spiritual field. And it's like, dude, people are talking like, you know, what are you doing? But I think it's the that power really lures people in. You know, it's like you reach a certain level and you're like, I could do this, this, and this. And you start going down the wayside, you know?
And it's interesting because you would think at some point in time, like even that left-hand path stuff would lead you to the conclusion that there's more and that you're more. Because if you're not more, how the hell is it working?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And some people, they just don't see it. And it's a shame because it's like knowing how to cast a spell is no different than knowing how to build a cabinet. It's a skill.
Yeah.
But so what? Building a cabinet doesn't necessarily bring you any closer to God either, unless you're doing it from that place. Right. Like you can make anything you do a ministry. I mean, I don't mean to use like a Christian term or whatever because I'm not specifically Christian, but it applies anywhere.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of like how you're doing it, and are you kind of bringing the divine through you into the world, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. It's like kind of like how Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is within you,
Yeah.
and you're not going to find it outside of yourself.
Right.
So
Yeah. If it's not in you, where is it, man? Wisconsin?
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. Do you gravitate toward like a specific teacher, or is there somebody who's like really, and I not even well actually yeah in real life but also in literature?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Like, I'm very eclectic.
Yeah.
So, like, at this point, like, I've been studying this stuff for probably, I don't know, like 35 years to some degree. So, I don't think that there's been any one person that I can say has, like, shown me the way, per se. Like, I like Manly P. Hall.
Sure. Yeah. The wisdom of all ages.
Secrets of the Ages.
Secret of the Ages.
Yeah, and he wrote a ton of books, this guy. And his story is incredible.
And he was really young when he wrote those books.
His masterpiece, like Secret of All Ages, I think he was like 25.
Yeah.
But this guy was like a metaphysical Rain Man.
Yeah.
Like, he just like put himself to studying this stuff, and like he just learned
a
it
genius.
so well. He was a genius.
Yeah.
And like, I don't agree with every one of his takes on everything. Like, he got super moralistic about certain things, which I think is important for a lot of people, because if they don't have any other guidance, like, at least it'll kind of keep them on the right track. But I feel like it's limiting in a way too.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, it just kind of hinders you from seeing the greater scope of things when you look at things from that way. But yeah, 25 years old. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man.
Like, I think, what the hell was I doing at
Yeah,
25?
exactly.
Like, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't figure things out even a little bit until I was older than that.
Right. It's like I'm still like on this learning process in the spiritual world.
Oh, same.
And this guy wrote a masterpiece. You know.
And then like 50 other books on top of that. And he had like he became like a preacher in like a universalist sort of church in Canada. No, in LA. He was from Canada, but in LA. And he just impressed some very rich people, and they're like, hey man, like, we're gonna basically what's the word? Like, where somebody sponsors an artist, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they funded
patron. They were gonna be his
Sure.
patrons.
Yeah.
And they basically funded him to like go to all these places and like get all these like rare books and everything, and he started the Philosophic Research Society with all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he just grew it over the course of years. But no, I think he was like a shining light in that community in a lot of ways. I hope to get there someday to visit it in LA. But I would say Israel Regardie was probably another one. Like, he was actually Aleister Crowley's secretary. And then he kind of just branched off on his own, and he became
rightfully so.
Yeah, and he became a very astute student, I think, of metaphysics and Golden Dawn stuff specifically. Like, he's the one that brought Golden Dawn stuff, which was like a secret society. Like, you weren't allowed to teach that stuff to people outside of the society at that time. And he is the one who brought it to the people, basically, like, with his books. Like, he wrote like Tree of Life, Garden of Pomegranates, Middle Pillar, all that stuff. Like, it was more accessible than most occult books, which, if you didn't know what you were looking at, none of those would have made any sense to you at the time.
Yeah.
And his stuff is hard to read because he wrote like a very smart person in his age would talk, like Victorian type stuff. So it's hard for us to read, but like, it was much more accessible.
Yeah, I really tried many years ago doing a deep dive into Israel Regardie, but I'm like, man, I am not smart enough for this stuff.
He got better about that as he got older. His younger stuff, he was very like Victorian. You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check out the later stuff then, because
check out Middle Pillar, annotated by Chick and Tabitha Cicero.
Okay.
Because like, that was a pretty short book, but then they added like all their notes to it.
Oh, that's what I need.
That's a very accessible book, and they help you understand a lot of stuff, and they add context and resources.
That's awesome. Yeah, he was great. There's a guy named Israel Mandrake. He's in Chicago, and he's a hypnotist, and he got his name, he told me, from Israel Regardie. So he wasn't born as Israel Mandrake. That's not his real name, but he was such a fan, a follower of Israel Regardie, that he changed his first name to Israel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and he's a good guy. He's a hypnotist. So he's actually helped my sister with some of her her issues using hypnotherapy.
Israel Regardie, he approached like very much opposite of Aleister Crowley, which I think is why they eventually parted ways. Like, he approached this stuff very much without ego, which is, I think, how people needed to have it presented to them.
Yeah.
Because if Aleister Crowley was your guy, you'd probably be more likely to go down a path like that too.
Yeah, I've said this before to somebody. I said, look, it's good to learn Aleister Crowley just to see what he's about, because he's so ubiquitous in our culture. So you should know about him. But if you want to follow a path, do Israel Regardie, which was his student. So
Crowley had some very interesting ideas and perspectives. Like, you could definitely learn from him. Like, that's probably not the first person I would read if you're into that stuff, but I would definitely get into him at some point. But yeah, I wouldn't follow him down his path, because that was a rough road, and he did not die happy.
Yeah, no, he didn't, and he died penniless.
Yeah.
So,
which for a powerful occultist is weird, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what happens to a lot of these guys who, like, they're very powerful, but it's very easy when you reach a certain level of knowledge to go down a darker path.
Mm-hmm. Well, you almost reach like a fork in the road at some point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably reach many of them as you're walking that path.
Sure.
Like, the first one, I think, is the guru path, where, like, you know just a little bit more than everybody else as you're climbing that mountain, and then you veer off to the side of the road, put a sign in the dirt and say, "Come follow me, I know the way." And you're like 10 feet up the mountain, and everybody else is right at the base, and they're like, "Man, look at how far this person is."
Yeah.
But that's where they stop too.
That's where the cult leaders are.
Yeah, exactly.
They're right
like
there.
They know just enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's easy to get into that, though, because, like, if you're doing this for any reason other than to transcend your ego and yourself, you're going to feed it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's easy to do that when you know stuff that other people don't about, like, the nature of reality, and, like, you're getting back kind of behind the scenes with all this stuff, and you can do things that other people can't do, even if it's just a little bit. Like, it's easy to start thinking more of yourself, when in reality, as you get better and better, you should be thinking less of yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And in so doing, becoming more powerful anyway.
Right. So there needs to be something said about being humble as you're going up this mountain.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not humble in the sense of, like, you know, you're still in your ego perspective, but you're just downplaying it. Like, that's not humble.
Right.
That's
right,
something
right.
else. Like, being humble, I think, is understanding what it is that you are to such a degree that you know that there's no way you could possibly be better than anybody else, because you and them are the same damn thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like how Socrates said, "I know nothing, therefore I'm closer to the gods."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what you're talking about, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like thoughts and emotions and all the things that we think we are, they're just things that we have. And people can become so in love with their thoughts and their ideas and mistake those things for them that they just get stuck there. And they never get any higher. Like, that would be like intellectual atheists. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the smartest damn people you ever talk, and, like, if you hear them in debates, they just, like, shred people.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, here they are still.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you can reason yourself into any position in the world if you're really smart. Like, it's easier to be wrong if you're smart than if you're not smart.
Yeah.
Because you can reason yourself into any position you want, because your mind is very agile and you've got lots of ideas. And if there's no wisdom with that, like, yeah, you get stuck there. And it's just a bigger ego at the end of the day.
I talked about this actually with Rob. Rob, you want to get on the mic real quick? We talked about how, like, these people they're so like, there's these people that debate online and stuff, and they're so intellectual, and some of them are very spiritual, and they're, you know, they say that they're Christian, but it's like they're really just shredding people. So it's like, Rob, what do you think about that? A lot of these people who are religious, but they're just taking people down, you know?
Well, I think the conclusion we came to was a lot of them are...
Get closer to the mic.
Oh, I think the conclusion we came to was a lot of them are just trying to win a debate online. I mean,
right.
It's very common with, especially, like, Orthodox Christians. There's a term, orthobros. Yeah. And that's for Orthodox Christians that they claim they're Orthodox Christians, but they're just trying to win debates and get views on YouTube.
Which are both activities of the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, not that can't make you a slightly better person, but you're still not going to get to where you're going if that's your focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's that it happens too much though, and it's like, and that's what I was saying about people like Andrew Wilson. It's Andrew Wilson is he's a Orthodox Christian debater, super knowledgeable guy, genius, you know. But he goes on these other podcasts and he just makes people feel bad about themselves. Now I know you probably have disagreed with me that, like, I think Rob's perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, is that, you know, it's like, well, these people need to be debated and put down because they need to learn their lesson.
Like, to me, like, it makes no difference if they learn a lesson at all. Like, that's kind of their journey. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel. Go ahead, debate me.
I'll say, I'll keep it short.
Yeah.
But I'll keep it short. But I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably accurate. But he does go too far, and there are other people I've seen online who I would say go a little too far.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to, say why they're doing it, but my first thought would be because it's for clicks. They want to cause
Sure.
that drama to get clicks. And I think that's kind of the concern. I've seen a lot of Orthodox videos where they're talking about people like Andrew, and they're like, yeah, we don't really agree with, like, we don't disagree with his points. We just disagree with his attitude and what he's doing. And there's this whole community that's formed like that, where they're promoting these Orthodox values. They just don't like how they're doing it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And going off with what Rob is saying, it's like yeah, they could be doing so much more with their knowledge. And I agree with you. Everybody is on their own journey. So when you put people down, it's like even when they realize that you're correct, they're not going to go down your path.
No, because they got egos too.
Yeah. So
and you're not going to help them transcend it if you're making them dig their heels in.
Yeah. That's why people need teachers, not others that are going to just put them down.
Well, right, like a real teacher is going to meet you where you are because there's no other way you're going to see anything.
Right. Yeah.
And like, so, there's a few lines that almost everybody knows from Jesus, right? Like, one of them I think was go forth and sin no more. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I've done some deep dives on Jesus too, because I think that, like, some people are, mad at the church or mad at Christianity, and they kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, not realizing that most of the stuff built around Jesus wasn't anything that he did or said.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I can gather, he was like a firebrand. Like, he was the kind of person that would admonish you for your sins, not because he wanted to make you feel bad, but because he saw you for what you really were, and he wanted you to live up to that, even if you didn't know it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when he did it, it was an act of love. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't angry at you. Like, he just wanted you to be better because you were better.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I am too. Like, I just want people to be better.
Yeah.
And if I can help them do it, great. But like, I think like we need more people like that.
Yeah, I mean that's that example that you gave is a good one. It's when the woman, she was going to be stoned to death
For adultery, I think.
for adultery. Yeah. Yes, and then he goes, he goes, who's your man? And then she goes, I have no man. He goes, I know, because you have several men. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he goes, go and sin no more. And it's like, oh, that's great. That's beautiful. It's like that's I like that.
Yeah, and he forgave her. Like, not because like she needed his forgiveness, but like she needed to be able to like kind of forgive herself and see herself as something higher, so that she could then go and be that.
Right. And then she probably slept with a lot more guys
Well,
after
who
that.
knows? Who knows? I don't know how the story ended, but that was my takeaway from that.
Yeah.
I mean, probably, right? Like, that's how we are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, we don't just mess up once. We usually mess up more than once. But
Yeah. But the point is that what he said is still relevant, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
Like he's opening it up for her to, like, hey, there's a window of opportunity for you. There's a window of forgiveness for yourself. You do whatever you want after that.
well, that's just it. Like, you can live your whole life making the same mistake over and over and over again, but all you need is that one moment of clarity where you realize, like, damn, I don't have to keep doing this. And what if I didn't?
Right.
And not because like God's going to be mad at me or whatever, but just because like I'm better than that. And this is keeping me off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, even if she were to continue that lifestyle, she might think back in the future and be like, that one thing that happened, she's like, I need to change my life now,
Right. And not for any other reason than I just want to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Like all that kind of stuff, like all like, the lust and the greed and all that stuff. The reason that those are the 7 deadly sins is because they point you towards ego and not towards divine.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing inherently evil about any of that stuff, though you do cause people pain sometimes when you do it. So that's a different story. But just within yourself, there's nothing inherently evil about it. It just it's a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And you can stay distracted your whole life. And then what?
Yeah. There's a former porn star, Lana Rhoades, and she quit porn, and she got married, and she has a baby now, and she said, like, I don't want any of the videos of me online anymore, blah blah. Of course they're not going to go away. So you would think that she's kind of like done with that lifestyle, but then I guess she recently created an OnlyFans. And so she didn't really stop.
I mean,
but
who doesn't have an OnlyFans? I have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Come on.
I gotta subscribe. But if you go into the comments on her Instagram, it's like all these people like attacking her. Now, here's the thing. Shut up, Rob. Here's the thing. What she's doing, it's probably dumb, right? Probably a stupid thing to do. But the point is, let her be on that journey. She's on that journey. Whoever's giving her money is kind of dumb. What she's doing is probably kind of dumb, but she's on her own journey. And, she has a family of her own. So she's probably at some point going to realize, when that kid grows up and that kid admonishes her, it's really going to hit her. But she needs to find out on her own. It's not up to us to bring her down.
And I kind of want to chime in here really quick too.
Yeah.
She might have the OnlyFans because that's all she knows. Like if she was a porn star,
She started when she was 19.
That was a way.
Yeah.
She was able to make her living.
Yeah.
And so what else does she know?
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good
Right.
point.
Like who knows why she did it?
Right.
Like I can't judge her for doing it. I've got no idea why she did it.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right though. I think like there's natural consequences to everything that we do, and that's like the whole karma thing. Like not like a punishment, but I mean just like the ripples that kind of like when you throw the stone in the pond, the ripples that go out. It's not good or bad. It just is. It's a natural reaction.
Right.
And hopefully they don't hurt.
Yeah. And if your transgressions don't get you now, I mean, when you die, your consciousness is going to come to an impasse where you're going to have to deal with it then.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like. I mean, obviously, I don't know the answers.
Well, I mean, like, if you're not respecting others or you're not respecting yourself as divine beings in some way, shape, or form, it's going to come back.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop you, but I mean, it's gonna halt you a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
it's gonna cause some pain.
Yeah, because there's going to be learning curves with that.
But then you learn from the pain, hopefully, and then you move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think Stalin is right now with that?
Stalin? He's in Wisconsin. No,
he reincarnated into... Okay,
no, honestly, like...
That's hell for him.
He's on his own journey.
I would say, yeah. No, honestly, like...
You're attacking me. Yeah, okay.
Many. But no, like, I think, like, when anybody dies, and this is just my personal belief, I mean, I can't prove it, obviously, but I think that when we die, some point after that, before we move on, I think that there is a life review, but I don't think it's for the sake of judgment. I think it's more for the sake of you kind of go through every interaction that you had with everybody in your life as them.
Yeah.
And whoever you had a kind word for, whoever you admonished and made feel bad, whoever you screwed over or helped out, like you experience all of that from their point of view, and I feel like that's how you learn and integrate that.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe it feels like a punishment if you're a horrible person like Stalin, but even he will get through that and he will come out the other side.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. It's.
But he'll feel the pain of everybody he murdered, starved, and everything else.
Right.
But
Did you have something
then
to say?
he'll get through it.
Yeah. Did you have something to say?
Just real quick, hopefully you can build off of it. But when we were at the near-death experience, there was a lady that claimed exactly what you said about she felt. Remember, she was with what was it, the other girl, or was it her sister? And they were both going through pain, and she felt the pain of the other lady.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I vaguely remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but no, you finish it.
Oh, but that was I was basically just building upon what you said. Like we've heard when we were at the near death experience, we heard people actually say they felt the other person's pain and they were seeing it through their eyes.
Yeah, there's a lot of near death stories that are like that,
Mhm.
where people will feel the pain of other. There's a famous one where were you gonna say something? Oh, sorry. Where he was living. He admits that he wasn't a great husband. He wasn't a great father. He has this near death experience where he described it like hell. It was basically hell. And he actually comes back and he became a Christian minister. But he said that when he had that experience, he felt the pain that he, gave his wife and his as an absent father to his children. And he realized, like, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I need to turn it around now.
And that's how you learn, though. Because
Yeah.
like if you're only seeing things from your own perspective, it's really tough to understand that, you know. So I feel like that's almost like a gift. Like if you can understand that and then come back to this life, I think that's a gift.
Well, that's why empathy is so crucial. Empathy is important, and that's serial killers don't have that.
Right.
So they're going to have a real learning curve in the afterlife.
That would be a whole different podcast, man.
Yeah,
serial
that's
killers.
yeah.
But-
I'm sure it will.
But like, okay, so that goes back to the non-dual and dual perspectives, right? So from the dualistic perspectives, you and I are separate people. From the non-dual perspective, we're not different at all. We're the same thing. So anything I do to you, I do to myself, and vice
Yeah.
versa. Or anything I do for you, I do for myself.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where empathy really comes in.
Well, I wonder if that's what Jesus meant when he said, like, if you hurt your brother, you're hurting me.
Yeah.
Like I think I wonder if he was describing like we're all just one.
And any of
So-
these things could be a whole podcast.
Yeah.
No, I think so, though. Like, I think he was dropping a lot of metaphysical truths to
Mhm.
people. And he was doing it to a people at a time where very little of that would have actually gotten through if he didn't just tell it in stories.
Mhm.
So he did what he could.
Right. Yeah. There's a story of when, because Buddha, or Siddhartha, before he became Buddha, he left his family because he went on this spiritual journey, right? And then when he became enlightened, he was still away for a while, but eventually he did return to his family because he realized, he felt the emptiness of leaving his family, so that he therefore returned to. So yeah, it's this thing that like we need to feel how we treat others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why respect is the golden rule, or how you treat others is the golden rule, because we are all one.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds so new agey, but
Well, no,
you know?
it's true, though. Like, new agey people, like, kind of co-opted it for a while, but, like, it's always
Yeah.
been true.
you're right.
Like, and any kind of spiritual teacher for many thousands of years, like, that was ultimately their message at the end of the day. And that's not something that most any of us are ready to hear. So, I mean, there's practices that lead up to that.
Yeah.
But, no, I think that's always been the truth.
There was he's kind of a modern mystic, Dan Mitchell, and he said that he didn't like the idea of all of us are one, and he thought that was actually a false spirituality, and his reason was because it takes away the idea that we are all individuals.
He's right. But the thing is, like, both of those things can be true at once.
Oh, how so?
Because if you're existing in multiple levels of consciousness at one time, from this granular dualistic existence where we're all different things, kind of on a spectrum all the way up to the non-dual existence where we're all the same thing,
Yeah.
both of those things are true at once. We're all that one thing experiencing the world through different eyes, basically. I mean, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's kind of the Gnostic perspective. In Gnosticism.
That Gnosticism has informed my opinions about things a little bit.
Oh, really? Has it?
Like, I don't buy into 100% of it. Like, I don't think that the world is like an evil, like, soul trap or anything
Yeah.
like that. I believe it can be, but I don't think it was designed to be.
Do you think it was designed flawed, like they think?
I don't think it was designed flawed at all. Like, I don't think a perfect thing could make anything imperfect.
Mm.
But I believe that we, from this perspective, can become lost in this world and kind of like we were talking about before, just like constantly getting recycled because we keep failing to jump out of this perspective and wake up from the dream. Like, you
Right.
can dream for as long as you want. You're eventually going to get back to where you're going. But a lot of us, we dream for a long time.
Yeah, that okay.
And
that's
I'm just
interesting,
trying to
yeah.
dream a little less.
Right. Yeah, that conscious clarity is really important, because I think that could actually solve a lot of things just in this life and when we transition.
Oh, absolutely. And this
You know?
world, like, this world, I think, is meant to teach us things from this perspective. Like, if you were born a human being, you're meant to be a human being. If you were born a dog, you're meant to be a dog. Obviously, you're here in the way that you're here for a reason. So yeah, live that life, be that identity, but just understand that you're more.
Yeah. Do you, with everything that you have learned, and you are always climbing up this mountain, do you ever live with regret? Do you have regrets?
I feel like I've made some lateral steps on the way. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's things I regret in my life, like things I did I wish I didn't do, things I didn't do I wish I did.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense to dwell on any of that stuff. Like, I feel like probably at the time that I did or didn't do the things I was regretting, I didn't have quite the same perspective, and I was kind of more stuck here.
Mm.
And of course, I'm still stuck here. I mean, I'm a person too or whatever, but like more so before. So now, with that perspective, I think it's easier to just look forward and keep trying to do the next thing and be better and all that stuff versus ruminating on past stuff, you know?
Yeah. The things that you did do, like think about something like really deep that you're like, oh my God, that was bad. That was really bad of me. Do you think not dwelling on it and moving on in your life, you will be able to spiritually move on from that transgression, or when you pass, will that follow you?
I think if you're able to integrate the lesson here and forgive yourself, I don't think it'll follow you. And by forgive yourself, I don't just mean like, oh, it's cool, I'm good. I mean, like, actually integrate that, understand what you did or didn't do
Yeah.
and why it was not the best thing, and try to make it right in some way, shape, or form, like even just within yourself. I think if you can do that here, and I think we have a unique opportunity to do that here, but I think if you can do it here, it won't follow you. I think if you don't do it here, it will follow you. Like, nothing is ever lost. And if it doesn't get integrated now, you're just going to have to do it later.
Mm-hmm. And I love that, because that's a thing that you hear often in a lot of these spiritual circles or even religious circles, is all about forgiveness and even forgiving yourself. But I don't think people are actually doing it.
Well, forgiveness, though, like, I feel like with the whole New Age thing, like, people take like kind of an airy-fairy approach to this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And like they kind of cut out the meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the forgiveness, part of the forgiveness is no longer holding bad feelings towards yourself or towards another person. But the other part of forgiveness is doing your best to make that transgression whole.
Mm,
Because otherwise, you're just excusing bad behavior.
right.
Now, I mean, sometimes if you're forgiving somebody else for doing something, that's all you can do. And you're doing that for them as well as for yourself, because then you're no longer holding on to that pain or that whatever, that
Yeah.
energy. But if it's for yourself, yeah, no, I think half of that is making it whole. Kind of like there's no freedom without responsibility, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Too many people focus on the freedom, not enough people focus on the responsibility these days.
Right.
And it's no different.
Yeah. Rob and I have gotten into the Emanuel Swedenborg.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
And we go to the. Oh yeah, it's happening. We always mention Swedenborg in front of Mike, and Mike hates it, because we're friends. So we go to the.
I never said I hate it.
Oh, you hate it.
I,
just say it. You hate it.
I despise it.
Yeah. It annoys
No,
you.
It's slightly different.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate it or despise it. It's, just,
We.
it's like a meme at this point. It comes up like all the time.
Yeah, I know it does, but it's for a reason though. He's
I
great.
know. I know.
And he's Christian, so calm down. Mike is Catholic. We had one of the Swedenborgians here, Del Rose, great guy, and he says that what he likes about Swedenborgianism is that Swedenborg doesn't let you off the hook when it comes time to doing what you're supposed to do. You have to put in the work, he says. And that's what attracts Del to it. And I like that too. I like the idea that like it's not just like, we could throw around this word forgiveness, or we could say like, yeah, we move on from that and we go toward the Lord or God. But it's like, no, Swedenborg says, no, you have to work at it, because in the afterlife there are layers to it. There are layers to hell. There are layers to heaven. You want to be at the top. Now, when we die, most of us are probably not going to get at the top, but that's why you have to be putting in the work for it.
I'd be happy with just over middle.
I'd be happy at just the base, or even like the edge of hell. I'll be fine there.
Like, I want to look at it, but I don't want to be in it.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think there's something to that. Like, you should always be doing the work, like every day. Like even Buddha, what did he say? Before you're enlightened, what do? You chop wood, you carry water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're enlightened. Now what do? You chop wood, you carry water. It's no different. It's like it's not an escape.
Right.
You're still living here. You're still being you. It's just different.
Yeah. With Buddha, I mean, the idea is that like when he dies, he will escape it, right? Because he escapes the cycle.
When he dies. But until then, you chop wood, you carry water.
Yeah.
You do the work.
Well, actually, I even read that like even for Buddha, like when he passes and he is with the other ascended beings or ascended masters, that like even they get recycled too. Like they could, even though they're at the top, they could fall down as well.
Oh yeah, because it's just a different level of existence. Like if you're anything other than pure consciousness, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
And you can miss the mark.
Right.
Now I don't know what it's like to live in that level of consciousness, but I know what it's like to live in this one, and I've missed the mark before.
Yeah.
Probably will again.
Right. Man, when are you gonna write your book?
Damn, I don't know. I don't even know what it's gonna be about, quite honestly. Just me rambling about stuff until I'm done rambling.
Honestly, it could be like a journal, and like people will read it. I'm sure.
Amazon self-publish.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. Amazon. I mean, that's the easiest way. But yeah. How are we with time, guys?
We're just at an hour.
Okay. Okay. Just a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. But like, where is your spirituality taking you right now? Where do you feel you are?
In what terms?
So, like, do you think now? You already said that you are practicing a lot of lucid dreaming. Is there anything else that you're kind of leaning toward? Anything that you've discovered?
Oh yeah. So my practice is basically like, Tibetan dream yoga, lucid dreaming type stuff. So basically just like exploring like consciousness from that perspective. And that's the Eastern part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Western part of it is Golden Dawn practices, like Western esoteric stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very heavy into Kabbalah and just like some of the Golden Dawn exercises that you just like do all the time.
Yeah.
So like Kabbalistic cross, lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, middle pillar, stuff like that. And those are really just all self-development exercises. Like those aren't like magical things per se, but they just develop you spiritually and energetically.
And you're a Reiki healer as well.
Yeah. I've been doing Reiki since like 99, I think.
And you've done Reiki on me. When you do Reiki and you have your hands near the person's body, do you feel like, is there like an actual like feeling you get from them?
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah, it's like it's different for everybody. Like there's no one way it's supposed to feel. Like for me, I'll feel kind of like if you were pushing into like a magnetic field, kind of like that resistance you would feel. Like that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. And then like if you're feeling for certain things, like, if you're feeling for like, is somebody's energy low here or blocked up or whatever, that all feels different too. Like for me, I'll either feel like if somebody's lacking in energy in a specific spot, like I'll just feel like a vacuum, like my hand will just kind of fall. And if it's like it's blocked up or it's too much, like it'll almost be kind of like a buoyant feeling where it'll rise up and like you can just kind of tell where it stops.
Mm-hmm.
And like where it's supposed to be versus where it stops, so like, okay, there's a blockage here or something.
Is this something that like you gradually learned, or was it there when you were a kid?
So no, Reiki I didn't learn until I was probably about 20. And then,
Okay.
like, I mean, I didn't learn it then. Like, I started learning it then, but
Yeah.
It's something that you're attuned to. So it's not like something that you have to develop over time. Like, once you're attuned, you kind of have it, but then you just have to learn how to work with it. Yeah, that's a podcast too.
Yeah.
Reiki is also kind of a spiritual practice, though.
Right.
And that's another practice that'll kind of bring you to the idea that, like, you're all one at the very top of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason that you can help any of the people that you do. Like, because that's where the energy comes from. Like, it's universal life force energy, you know? And why would I have access to that if I wasn't also that?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like the Force in Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
You know, you just harness the energy that's all around you,
Mm-hmm.
and you could heal people with it. You could hurt people with it too. You could heal people with it. You manipulate it. You know.
And, like, I mean, like, it's hard to say that you're, like, healing anybody. I guess, like, you're kind of helping them heal themselves because they've got the same energy. Like, you're just kind of, like, holding space. You're almost activating it for them, but they have it. You know, like, you're not giving them something. Like, maybe you're waking something up or you're facilitating something.
Yeah.
But what you have is nothing that they don't also have.
Right. You've been to the Theosophy Society,
I have.
and I've been there many times. I'm sure you have too, right?
I actually saw the library once. It was really cool.
Yeah, the library is great. It's beautiful, and they have a bunch of great works in there too that you can't really find anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's one of the great stories that you told me was you took Pam, your wife, there for your first date, and you also proposed there as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Were you a Theosophist?
No.
No, you just liked the place.
I like the place, and, like, that was the Quest was the first bookstore that my dad ever took me to of that kind.
Oh,
I was probably like 11 or 12.
wow, that's awesome.
So, I mean, that's why the place was kind of special to me.
Yeah,
And there weren't as many places like that around at that time. Like, now you can find one everywhere,
Yeah.
but, like, that was kind of it at the time. So that was a big deal.
yeah,
And I was never a theosophist. Like, I've got Madame Blavatsky's books and stuff, and, like, I don't agree with everything she says,
Mhm.
but she did kind of blend some Western and Eastern stuff together, and I thought that was cool.
yeah. I'm actually reading a book on her biography. What do you think about her? Was she a crank or was she legit?
Yeah, both things could be true at the same
Yeah, a
time.
little of both.
Like, no, I think that she did have a lot of knowledge. I don't know if she was, like, a practitioner per se.
Hmm.
Some people believe she was. I think that she had a good grasp of some of the systems she was writing about. Like, some of the racial stuff I don't fully buy into. Like, that was kind of a product of the time, I think.
Mhm.
But no, she had a lot of good ideas otherwise, though.
But when she was talking about that, like the racial stuff, like was she just making it up as she goes along, or was she really getting knowledge?
It's really hard to say, man.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you practice anything long enough, like, you probably get messages from, like, higher beings and stuff like that. And even though I've been doing this as long as I have, and, like, I've probably gotten downloads or advice or whatever, I would never say, like, I've channeled this message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never had that experience, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you with that. Like I'm not sure either. Like I do lean towards that she was more authentic than she was, a hoaxer.
Oh, I think she full on believed what she was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she did too. But when you communicate with all these beings that she says that she was communicating with, sometimes these beings they're not always telling the truth.
Right.
you
Well,
know?
that's the thing. Like, discernment is such an important spiritual skill,
Right.
and it's not one that people always take the time to learn.
Yeah.
And, like, it's always crazy to me. Like, I see people in this community sometimes that, like, they'll want to use this almost as a way to escape life, right?
Mhm.
And my thought is, like, if you're having that hard of a time at this level of consciousness, how are you then going to jump into the next and think things are going to be any better? Like, isn't that more complicated and not less?
Yeah.
So, yeah, discernment's huge.
Yeah, I've met psychics where like they have said things that like they couldn't have known that. So okay, I know that they are legit psychics, but they're also communicating with these higher beings or these alleged higher beings. Let's just say other beings, right? And some of the things that they'll say though, not during a reading, but like other things like, oh, I know this because of what the entity is telling me. It's like, well, no, are you sure what you're saying is accurate? Because that doesn't even sound accurate. So it's going back to the idea that like, no, they're probably communicating with something.
But what?
Yeah, exactly. But
Like, oh
what?
yeah, old
know?
George at the subway station told me this thing, so it's true. Like, all right, who's old George?
Yeah.
You know, like some homeless dude, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
how do you know they're telling you the truth or that they're correct?
Like from the movie Ghost.
Yeah.
The subway ghost,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, like, but that's discernment though.
Yeah.
And that comes with practice. I think people get waylaid on that sometimes too. Like they make their first communication, like, "Oh man, I've arrived." Like, "All right, cool. What was that thing you were talking to?" "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
"Higher being." "Are you sure?" "No."
Right.
You know,
yeah.
like, I hope so.
Yeah. And it may not even be an evil entity. It's just, that is what they are.
Mhm.
So like, I don't even think some of these beings like speak in terms of truth and falsehood. They're just spouting out things. It's like you could play the Ouija board and supernatural events happen, and it tells you things that it couldn't have known, but then it also give you a lie.
Well, I think there are many different levels of consciousness, and I think there are things that exist like just on the fringe of our consciousness
Right.
that could be considered like lower beings or like parasites or whatever, and like they can see just enough to either tell you what you want to hear or tell you something that nobody else could have possibly known because like you're thinking it. Maybe they can sense that or whatever, but they don't have anything beyond that. There's no higher truth to that.
Right.
Like they're just trying to get your energy.
Yeah.
And that's a way that they can do it. But I also think too, like if you're trying to build your beliefs into a system, which is why like I've always been kind of reluctant to do that, like, write the book or whatever. But like, if you're trying to build your beliefs into a system, you have to be able to sell it. And nothing sells like I talk to somebody that you all can't talk to, and I've got this higher truth.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is buy my book.
Yeah.
Or sign up for my website or whatever. So I think that's a trap sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Either for the people buying or the people selling,
Honestly, oftentimes, discernment is the key word, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
you have to have
huge.
discernments.
Like, having no discernment is like just going off into the wilderness without a compass. Like, you might be okay, but you're probably going to get eaten by a bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, when I go into Snowflake healing, I'm always it's always this welcoming atmosphere when I go there. And everybody, all the readers that you have there are just great people, and you could tell that you and Pam are like, you guys are like the center of everything there. And there's such a good comforting energy around you guys and around the shop, and that energy is coming, the source is you guys. So thank you for always having me, welcoming me in there and just being really nice to me. And you guys are always nice to everybody that goes in there and stuff. But where could people, obviously the shop, so let us know where you could find the shop and how to contact you if you want to be contacted.
Yeah, so the shop is 153 Market Street in Willow Springs. There's no sign, so you have to kind of know that you're going there to go there.
Yeah.
But it's like right next to Capri, like underneath the condo buildings across from the coffee house, the Ashbury. And snowflakehealing.com if you want to check out the website. And I appreciate that, man. Like that is what I was wanting for that place. Like and not to speak ill of any other place, like everybody's making their own contribution, but like,
oh, they all suck. That's all right.
but like, I mean, we just like, I feel like we're really grounded people.
Yeah.
Like we are very much living in this world, and we're trying to bring that stuff into this world. Like we're not trying to like, I don't know. Like we have a very strict no guru policy in that place. Like if we get a hint of any of like the readers or anything trying to do stuff like that, like we've let people go for that before.
Right.
Like you're not a guru, man. We're all just here.
See, that's why I couldn't work there, because I'd be like, all right, we're forming a religion, and there are sexual practices in this religion.
You would get you some linen clothes and some mala beads, and
right.
that would be it.
Yeah, that's all I want. But
no,
yeah.
but I mean, like I think that's probably what you're feeling there. Like everybody there is truly just there to help. Like there's no ego, not making $1 million. Like we're just there to help,
right?
And we just like it.
$1 million would be nice, though.
I mean, it would be nice. I wouldn't be mad, but like,
right.
but that's like I would have opened a 7-Eleven if that's what I wanted. Like that's not why we're there.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here, and I look forward to you coming again because I just feel like everything that we talked about we could go more in depth in.
Oh, for
But
sure.
I had so many questions for you, so that was awesome.
Well, thanks for
And,
having me, man.
yeah,
This was a
thank you.
pleasure. I enjoy always the chance to talk about this stuff. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna have you back eventually, but thanks for coming.
Okay.